So it would seem that acting from need would be a conscious action, is that
It's
correct?
unconscious. Right. See, we think everybody that's talking and walking is conscious. No, they're unconscious. It's not like they have a choice. They think they have a choice. But the blood is driving, see. Survival is driving. See? But that's not conscious. See? We can be conscious of it. We can be conscious of our unconscious need to survive and be human. See, be part of the blood and be part of humanity and be fearful at the same time. See? We're not conscious of it. We're not conscious enough to transcend it. See, we're not conscious enough to know that it doesn't exist. See, beyond being a program, it's a program. It's an unconscious program. It's powerful. The drive to accomplish is often an unconscious program, passed down by the ancestors. And so we stand up there and take credit for it. But there's been a long line of evolution behind what we're able to do. So we give ourselves credit, but we're really giving credit to the ancestors. Put the energy in before. Pass it on down to you.
So if we identify needs that aren't related to survival, are they truly needs?
Yes, we can say they're needs. They can be unconscious mechanical needs. You need to sleep, you need to eat, you need to do these things. So we call them needs, but they're unconscious. Because you can't not do them. You can modify yourself relative to that. But you can't go beyond that. You won't exist unless you're a yogi who learned and was trained to do certain things that basically not human. Okay. You know. So everybody goes to sleep, everybody gets up, but they don't know where they come from. They don't know often really where they're going apart from what was set up by the family or what they feel they created for themselves. See? Where they think they actually created it. And so one of the obstructions is being called or assuming ourselves as the creator. When, you know, what are we creating that we weren't given? What are you creating that your mother didn't give you, or your father, or your grandfather, grandmother didn't give you? See, so when you have really critical analysis, as I say, very little. We can take it to another level. But what are we creating? So we're talking about the enlightenment being the reduction. See, of validation at the ego level, see, and the production of, right, say, awareness at the heart level. Because there's more peace, there's silence, it's more neutral, clearness.
Is the need to go deeper an unconscious need?
You're not going deeper, you're already deeper. The need to be aware of it is part of your conscious need to recognize the unconscious. See, because you see it, you see that there's something missing because you're suffering. If you can perceive suffering, you can perceive also that you don't need to suffer. And that you're suffering, you want to know what the cause of that suffering is, so you can modify what the conditions are. You have to recreate the conditions. See, the way your mind is, you see your karma. So there are a number of paradoxes built into this that remain as paradoxes. And that's good because it's not altogether for the mind to understand. Because the heart must have its way. So the mind has to be put somewhere else because the mind is very limited. You know, logic, materialistic, not really spiritual. Potentially, absolutely spiritual, but not really from the narcissistic, egotistic level. It's all about the self. See, and what this pipsqueak self can do to build itself up. See, and make itself like monstrous when you're subject to the laws of life and death and everything else. You're imagining that you're better and greater than other peeps. Yeah. Egotism, huge.
So would you say then that all conscious behavior either seeks to find the unconscious or to avoid the unconscious?
Well, this is not an analysis, actually. See, it's not a question. See, people are unawakened and they suffer. Those who are awakened can feel the pain and the suffering of others, but they don't suffer it in the same way. The idea of liberation means there's more. more potential, more ability to create because there's less neuroses. The idea is to recognize neuroses as a problem, an unnecessary problem, because you can stop the neuroses in the blink of an eye. Sometimes a shock will knock you out of your pattern of neuroses. See? Your stupidness, your stupid face, the self-killing face, when you want to kill yourself in a bad way, but you need to kill yourself in the best way, which means open your heart. See? Kill yourself of limitation, if you can do that, and get to the heart of self-liberation, if you can do that, if you're ready for that, if you're conscious of that, if you have the impulse that enables you to follow that to conclusion. See? Because a lot of people who are in the middle of their darkness, and suffering, and limitations, and human, let's say, failings, say, I am spirit. I know I am spirit. Or you hear the writings, or you hear or see somebody reading the writings of Jesus saying, I am that. I am Jesus. That wisdom, I am that. They feel this kinship, the resonance, they are in resonance with that. See, Jesus wasn't the only one. Jesus was channeling something from where? We are that where. We are the source of all wisdom, the heart. And who lives from that?
So are you saying that an awakened person can experience pain without suffering pain?
It's different, yes, it is definitely different. You can feel everything. That's what a musician should do, feel all the emotions. See? And then know better what kind of music to play to bring healing. It's not just any old piece that's going to bring healing. Yeah, in the superficial world of music. Music and dance, you can play pieces that obviously manipulate the people into certain behaviors. But that doesn't necessarily mean healing it as such, not from this point of view. That kind of, let's say, result is not so much healing, it is satisfying the needs of the moment, and people remain ignorant, bound to suffering, and delusion. So it's not real healing, that is momentary feeling good, like a drum beat can make people feel good because they can move their bodies. So, not awakening anything except a base impulse. See, to act. Maybe that's a step up from where they were before. See, but that's not it. So we have many, many steps, many levels that have to be awakened and then realized as our potential. So your relationship should be to God itself, or spirit, pure spirit. That's a real marriage that's already perfect. See? That's your other. See? That's your real other. Everything else is sort of, more or less in the service of that, we say, ultimately, in service of that. And on the way to true realization at the heart level.